The word biohacking conjures up some pretty intense images. Tech billionaires with IV drips, Silicon Valley execs in personal hyperbaric chambers, and a whole world of expensive gadgets and extreme protocols. It's often sold as a cheat code for superhuman performance, reserved for those with deep pockets and a lot of time. We see the trends, we hear the buzzwords, and we file it all away under stuff that's too complicated for me. But what if the most powerful biohacks weren't complex or expensive at all? What if the most profound ways to upgrade your energy, sharpen your focus, and build resilience were simple, accessible, and deeply rooted in your own fundamental biology? This is the story of how a few seemingly strange habits, from plunging your face in ice water to taping your mouth shut at night, are turning out to be potent tools for optimizing your nervous system, your mood, and your mind. And the science is showing they actually work. Let's start with a feeling we all know, that wired, anxious, fight-or-flight state. Your heart is racing, your thoughts are scattered, and you just can't calm down. In the world of biohacking, the go-to solution for this is the full-body ice bath. Everyone's plunging into frigid tanks, preaching about mental toughness and dopamine spikes. It's become an instant badge of honor. But here's what most people don't mention. The science on some of its biggest claims is still shaky. Some studies suggest it might even blunt muscle growth or wreck recovery if it's overused. The truth is, if you're looking for a fast-acting nervous system reset, you don't need a $1,000 tub. You just need a bowl of ice-cold water. Plunging your face into it activates a powerful primal response called the mammalian dive reflex. This reflex is hardwired into all air-breathing vertebrates to conserve oxygen when submerged. The moment cold water hits your face, specifically the areas around the nose, cheeks, and eyes, it triggers the trigeminal nerve, which sends a signal directly to your brain. Your brain then immediately activates the vagus nerve, the superhighway of your parasympathetic rest and digest system. The results are immediate. Your heart rate slows down, in some cases by 10 to 25%. Blood vessels in your limbs constrict, redirecting oxygen-rich blood to your most vital organs, your heart and your brain. This isn't just a feeling. It's a profound physiological downshift from a state of high-alert stress to one of calm and control. In fact, the effect is so reliable that stimulating this reflex is a recommended first-line medical treatment for bringing down a dangerously fast heart rate in certain emergency situations. The method is absurdly simple. Fill a bowl with the coldest water you can get, add some ice, hold your breath, and submerge your face for 15 to 30 seconds. That's it. It's a direct and powerful way to manually control your own nervous system, and it costs nothing. What if your anxiety, brain fog, and bad moods weren't really starting in your head at all? What if they were starting in your gut? Welcome to the gut-brain axis, the stunningly complex communication network where your stomach literally tells your brain how to feel. Inside you, there's a second brain called the enteric nervous system, a web of millions of neurons lining your gut. This system communicates directly with your brain through a massive information cable called the vagus nerve. And this conversation is heavily influenced by the trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, collectively known as your microbiome. Here's how it works. What you eat, you feed them. A weekend of junk food feeds the kinds of inflammatory bacteria that have been linked in some studies to anxiety and depression. But a diet rich in fiber, fermented foods, and polyphenols, found in things like berries and dark chocolate, feeds the beneficial microbes. These good bacteria produce anti-inflammatory compounds and, incredibly, help synthesize key neurotransmitters. Here's the kicker. More than 90% of your body's serotonin, the famous feel-good neurotransmitter that regulates mood, sleep, and appetite, is manufactured in your gut, not your brain. Gut bacteria also produce other crucial neurochemicals like GABA, which helps control feelings of fear and anxiety. So when you feel sluggish, foggy, and moody after a few days of poor eating, you're not just being dramatic. You are experiencing a real neurochemical-driven event. Studies have suggested a clear link between gut dysbiosis, an imbalance of good and bad bacteria, and mood disorders. You can start to shift this balance today. Don't just eat healthy, be specific. Add in fiber-rich foods like oats and vegetables to feed beneficial bacteria. Incorporate fermented foods like yogurt, kimchi, or sauerkraut, which contain live probiotics. It's not about perfection. It's about recognizing that every bite is a signal you're sending directly to your brain. You're probably not getting enough of this mineral. And even if you think you are, you might still be feeling the effects of a deficiency. It's magnesium, and it's involved in over 300 essential biochemical reactions in your body, regulating everything from sleep and stress to cognitive function and muscle tension. Yet, a huge portion of the population falls short. Estimates suggest that up to half of the US population doesn't consume the recommended daily amount of magnesium. Our modern diets, heavy on processed foods, have been stripped of it, and modern life actively drains our reserves. But here's where it gets tricky, and why many people who try it feel nothing. Not all magnesium is created equal. The cheap magnesium oxide you find in many generic supplements has an abysmal absorption rate, as low as 4% in some studies, and is more likely to cause digestive upset than to calm your nervous system. Other forms, like magnesium citrate, are better absorbed but can still have a strong laxative effect. For targeting the nervous system, stress, and sleep, the science points to more bioavailable forms. Magnesium glycinate, which is bound to the calming amino acid glycine, is highly absorbable and gentle on the stomach. A 2024 systematic review noted that magnesium supplementation appears likely to be useful for improving mild anxiety and sleep quality. The benefits are often most pronounced in those with low magnesium levels to begin with. If you've tried magnesium before and gave up, you probably tried the wrong kind. For genuine nervous system recovery, the right form of magnesium might be the quiet MVP of your entire wellness strategy. We've all been sold on the idea that you need a constant stream of fuel to stay sharp. But what if the opposite were true? What if strategically not eating was the key to unlocking next-level mental clarity? This is the promise of intermittent fasting, and it's about much more than weight loss. The most common approach is 16-8 fasting, an 8-hour eating window with 16 hours of fasting in between. The reason so many people report laser-like focus during the fasting period is due to a profound metabolic shift. When you're not constantly digesting, your insulin levels drop. Your body, deprived of its easy-access glucose fuel, starts to produce ketones, an alternative, highly efficient energy source for the brain. This provides a clean, stable energy that avoids the slumps and brain fog that come from blood sugar roller coaster. But the benefits go even deeper. Fasting has been shown to increase levels of a powerful molecule called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Think of BDNF as miracle grow for your brain. It supports the growth of new neurons, strengthens existing connections, and plays a crucial role in learning, memory, and cognitive resilience. By boosting BDNF, fasting essentially helps your brain become more adaptable and stress-resistant. Getting started is simple. You don't need to dive into a multi-day fast. Just try pushing your breakfast back by an hour or two. Stop eating after dinner and see how long you can comfortably go. The key is to simply extend the natural fast that occurs while you sleep. Of course, it's not for everyone, and those with underlying health conditions should consult a doctor. But for many, it's a simple, free way to turn on a more alert, focused, and efficient version of their own brain. Want to dramatically improve your sleep quality? Or give you a panic attack at 3 a.m., depending on who you ask? Welcome to the weird world of mouth taping. The theory is simple. Humans evolved to be nasal breathers. Our noses are incredible air processing machines. They filter pathogens, humidify the air, and warm it for our lungs. Critically, nasal breathing also increases the production of nitric oxide, a gas that widens blood vessels and improves oxygen delivery throughout your body. Mouth breathing bypasses this entire system. It's inefficient, can lead to a dry mouth and throat, and is linked to snoring and lower quality sleep. The idea is that this can stabilize your jaw, reduce snoring, and prevent the dozens of micro-arousals that happen when your brain thinks you're struggling to breathe. But here's where things get sticky. The research is very limited. A few small studies on people with mild sleep apnea have shown some reduction in snoring, but the results are inconsistent. Doctors rightly warn that this is a risky practice for anyone with significant nasal obstruction, a deviated septum, allergies, or undiagnosed sleep apnea. Still, for some people, it's a game changer. They report deeper sleep, more energy, and no more drool on the pillow. If you're curious, the key is to approach it with extreme caution. Use special porous mouth tape designed for this purpose, not duct tape. Try it for 10 to 15 minutes during the day first to see how you feel. If it causes any anxiety or breathing difficulty, stop immediately. It's a controversial hack, but for the right person, it just might solve a problem they didn't even know how to fix. Now, while these hacks are powerful tools, they are just one piece of the puzzle. If you're serious about taking control of your biology, you need a holistic approach. That's why I made another video on the next 6 biohacks for being at your best, from red light therapy to a dopamine reset. Click the link on screen or in the description to check that out next. And if you got value out of this breakdown, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. For too long, biohacking has been defined by complexity and cost, but the most profound changes don't always come from a gadget or a pill. They come from relearning how to use the incredible biological hardware we were all born with. These hacks, a face plunge, a mindful meal, a critical mineral, a fasting window, and even a piece of tape, are not about chasing superhuman status. They are about restoring fundamental human function. They are tools for the student facing exams, the professional grinding through a project, the parent juggling 1,000 tasks. They are for anyone who wants to feel more calm, focused, and resilient in their daily life. This is biohacking for the rest of us. Simple, accessible, and rooted in science.